everybody, my name is Cheri, and this is Edith. I think she's leaving though. Trying to discourage her from being part of today's stamping session. Welcome to my stamp studio. I have a card for you today, and I'm going to do another one that uses the paper. So before I left on our extended May holidays, I told you that in June I would be doing the Art of Stamping series, but that was before I knew that the paper was going to be on sale. And it's kind of hard, at least for me, to use a whole lot of the papers because I want to show you the papers while they're on sale so you can get them now. So I've decided to kind of postpone it. It probably won't be a July thing, but I'm going to try to use several of the papers so you can see them while they're on sale. The ones I'll be showing you will all be 15% off. And then once I make it through the papers, then I'll start the Art of Stamping. But sometimes it's too much to get a whole bunch of artsy stuff on and still show off our papers, because once you put the paper on the card, a lot of the beauty is already done. So before I get started on today's card, I do want to tell you this is an Art of Stamping card. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, it's a series that I often do. I made the same card for my daughter and Jamie for their congratulations on their engagement and took it with us on the trip. So you can go watch this one. And this one is the same stamp set. I wanted to show you these for two reasons. I'm going to be using this specialty paper again on today's card, but the other color. And also this is the inked and tiled, another change in the inked and tiled bundle, which will be what I'm going to be doing my next card on. And it's going to be, what month is it? June Card Club. I had wanted to do the Earth and Elegance, but the ribbon that goes with that suite is currently on back order, and it's not due back in until the middle of July. So I don't even know that we'll get it. I might be able to get it for July Club. We'll kind of have to keep an eye on it and see how we're doing. But inked and tiled, be watching for this. I'm going to use it with the paper because the paper is also part of Card Club for June. So all of my information for Card Club will be in the next video that uses that bundle. And then today I'm going to use a few different kind of things and kind of mix them together. This is Lighting the Way. It was in the last mini, but it is in the new catalog as well. It's no longer a bundle. So I am going to use the stamps and the dies. Although the stamps that I'm using, I started to say just the sentiment, but I'm using the light. So no, you can't substitute something else. So I'm going to use that, and then I'm going to use a couple of the different papers. The paper that is on sale that I'm using today is Masterfully Made, and I already used it. It was laying here, and you want to know the reason I'm using it? Is because I've gotten a whole lot of orders from you guys with sale papers, and even after I showed you this card, still hardly anybody has ordered this paper, and I love it. I think it's beautiful. I know it's overwhelming when you look at all the patterns, so I'm just trying to break it down and just use it on a card and not use the overwhelming and not have you see all of it. So if you want to see all of the papers that are in Masterfully Made, go watch this video, because on that one I do walk you through all of the pieces. So we're going to use that. We're going to use a couple of the specialty papers. This one is the Bedazzled, I think it's called. And this one is in color Shimmer or Luster. I don't know. I don't have it here. It'll be down below the video. So it does come in all of the in colors, the current in colors. Oh, and I don't know what this one is. Let's think. Mauve. It would be Moody Mauve. I haven't looked at the colors. I did put an order in this morning, and as soon as I put the order in, then I forgot stuff. So don't feel bad when you do that. And I need mine for business, and I still didn't get it. The piece of Masterfully Made that I'm going to use is this piece here. And before I put the stamps up, I did want to show you, I love this piece. Again, it's a lot, but you don't put a 12 by 12 sheet, and you most certainly don't put huge chunks. I mean, at most, even if you're making a larger size card, you would only have a few patterns on it. So I know when you look at all of the paper, it's like, whoa, that's a lot of color, but you're not going to do that. But here is this side of it. I'm using Lighting the Way. And once I went over and I cut it all out, except for the fact that I love this piece of paper, I thought that I had a favorite. But as I've been using it, I realized I like a lot of the pieces in it. But see these right here that are part of Lighting the Way? You can stamp them and they have dies. And then look over here. It matches. So you can use this side. And I did think I had this little piece here. I was going to kind of try to put the words on it. I didn't want the card to be too much because, again, this paper is a lot, and so I wanted my sentiment to really kind of show. But this would be pretty on this side, and it matches this perfectly. So if you already have this or it's on your list, the lightning bug is our Indiana state bug. I don't know why your state needs a bug, but at least ours is a fun bug. And we all, you know, we all caught them when we were children, and we put them into mason jars, which is kind of, I didn't want to put mine in a jar. I wanted my little lightning bug to have some freedom. So mine's not in the, because I think this, if you don't put the light in it, then it could also be a jar that kids would collect lightning bugs. But if you haven't ever been to a place where there's lightning bugs or fireflies, you're missing out, because we're heading into that season, and it's magic. So I have Pretty Peacock. That's going to be our card base. I am going to use vellum, which I used on the other card, because sometimes when a card is a lot, or paper is a lot, then just having a little piece of vellum, and I always cut it smaller. I don't want to cover up all of the paper, and this allows you to see, oh yeah, that's upside down, that there is pretty paper back here, but it kind of mutes it, and so it will help our design not be so overwhelming. So here is the mauve paper, and you can see it matches nicely. I don't know that this is mauve. This paper has a lot of colors in it, but it's this really fun, it's a double-sided shimmer. So I'm gonna do this. Pull my cut and emboss machine over here. I think I'm almost done with all of my emails. I'm almost done. Those of you that had rebates coming, those are on my list to do this afternoon. When you film, you have to have time to film, and then time to edit, and then for the saving of the videos and the uploading of the videos. So sometimes I take a break from my office stuff to come over and do this. So this is just the scrap that is left from the vellum that I cut down. It's just the edges. And I'm going to put my firefly's body here, and her wings here. Just use that scrap up. And then here's my piece of the bedazzled, and this is the gold. And I want it to be a lightning bug, so I'm going to just take this and lay it on here. You don't need to use any more than what you need to, whoops, what you need to use. So I'm just gonna hold this on here and then just turn right around it. Same thing that I did for my lantern, because when you have some of the specialty papers, you don't want to waste it. So literally just put it on here and just trim around it. And then we have our lightning bug's body, and she'll have just a little bit of, I didn't want it to be overwhelming, and this paper is beautiful, so it's a really fun way to use it. And again, you can see more of it in those 2 inked and tiled videos. Just one pass through. We'll get all of these. And then here's our body. Wings are here. Sometimes they stick to the plate, and sometimes they stay in the thing. They have, it cuts, and on these then it adds additional little cuts just for a highlight, as it does on our lantern. Oh, come on. There we go. So you can see it's super pretty. It's shimmery, and it has those lines that are cut into it. So here's a little tip for you. I am going to take this piece here, and I'm going to put everything on it that is right side up. It's got letters on it. So if you, before when I said it was upside down, there are some words back here. They mostly get lost when you put this over the top, but there's some here, and I don't want them to be upside down. I'm going to take my lantern, because I want to stamp the light in here. So I'm going to lay this on here, just like that. It doesn't have to be perfect, but this is going to give us a nice place to aim for. So I'm just going to put this in here, just make a little, I just made a tiny little dent into my card. It's ever so slightly, almost a hole, not quite a hole. Even if it's a hole, nobody's going to see it, because you're going to stamp over the top of it. So now let's do our couple of quick bits of stamping. I am going to use crushed curry to create the light. So there's 3 different sizes of circles. I almost used all 3. And you know, you have time on the vellum, and I can see my little circles right here, so I'm just gonna aim for that. But you have lots of time for the vellum. I'm gonna do that one again, right over the top. And then I'm gonna take the little one, and again, this will make it just be a tiny bit darker right here in the center. But you have time on the vellum to allow it to dry. So we have that. And then I have Blackberry Bliss. I almost did it in the peacock, since that's the background of my card. But when I laid this down, I noticed that these are kind of in the blackberry. So I decided to match my words with the words. I'm doing Thanks for Lighting the Way. This set does have several sentiments in it. So you could just let that dry. You could take your heat tool and heat set it and let it dry. I want mine to be a little bit more shiny, and I think it kind of helps. Oh, I'm pulling the card over here. It kind of helps make it be a little bit bolder. So I'm going to take my clear embossing powder. Just pour this on here. The fun thing about clear is it doesn't even matter if it sticks someplace it's not supposed to. Make sure your tool's hot, and then just move it along. Look how fast it goes. It's super easy to tell when it's done. And this, because it's going to be on the back of that really stark paper, the embossing, I think it just makes it really pop from the page. So now we have this. Now let's put this, it's so super simple to put together. I am going to start with some ribbon. And this is our new basic white herringbone ribbon. I'm just gonna pull some through the top of my lantern. There are stamps, so you can stamp the fireflies on. There's the flowers, there's the sentiments. So I'm gonna do about that much. And you wanna make sure that you have a nice flat. The scissors need to be sharpened. And we just had a weekend, and I didn't think to ask my husband to do it over the weekend. So lay this kind of flat. You don't want to bend that. Lay this in here. Keep everything flat. So don't let your ribbon turn into a knot before you even pull it. Because if you keep this nice and flat, see, like that, you don't want to pull too hard because you don't want to tear the paper. But this keeps it flat now, and it has some give. So when you put it in the card, it's not a hard knot. And then we'll fix the ends once it's all on here. So there's a couple of ways that you can put this on here and not have the vellum have any adhesive. So I'm going to use my fine tip glue. You can see there's lots of space back here. And we're just gonna add just a bit to the edges. And then this should be just where we need it, right here in the middle. So I'm gonna let that sit a second. Now let's put our bug together. I'll do it on top of here so you can see it a little bit better. That vellum kind of just disappears into nothing. And this is gonna have glue on top of it. So I'm gonna start with her body. Add some glue here. And then I'm gonna add this to the top. So you can see that her little lightning part at the bottom, especially because that's how lightning bugs look if you haven't caught one before. And now I'm going to take this little piece here. It doesn't need very much of this glue to hold her all together. And in fact, you don't want a ton because you don't want it to chance oozing everywhere and then having it be darker. So we're just going to let that sit a second. Let's flip this over. You can see where this is here. I'm just going to aim for the same spots that I have glue. You can also put a little bit behind there. But again, it doesn't take much. This is a nice strong glue. Pop this on here. Just going to shut that over there. Then I'm just going to take one of my blocks and we'll sit this here a second. This sets up really quickly. Let's see if I can make these scissors work. I'm just going to trim this off. Thought about wrapping it around, but then I kind of liked the way that this looked. That's why I gave myself extra here, so I would be able to trim this. ahead and glue this onto our card. And you can see what the glue does to the lightning bug. I kind of liked it. I liked that she had a little bit of like life to her wings, so I just left it. Now if you're putting it in an envelope, of course it's going to lose a little bit of that. But if this is one where you're just sticking it on a gift bag or on top of a present, then that would be fun for it to keep that pattern that the glue does. Stick this on here. And now let's get, I just sealed up my glue. Just going to add some glue to the back of her. And then just pop her on wherever she lands is good. You can see I moved it. My other one, I did the lightning bug first because I wasn't sure how I was making the card. So she was all the way dry. So we've got this. Now I'm gonna go ahead and put this on here again, but she's still gonna, her wings will still flop up. Just take a little bit of adhesive and then you can make your bow lay flat and also get that, the knot right there, kind of roll over. And you would not have to do this with your block on here. I don't want to sit here and wait for it to dry and then have to edit more of my video. So we're just gonna work with it this way. This way it also will help if you're putting in an envelope for all of this to be flat. So now all of that is stuck. I'm going to take my Wink of Stella and add a little bit to her wings. I'm not going to do her antennas, and I'm not going to do this part of her, or her legs. That way her wings and the little bit of her body will have a tiny bit more. And it kind of matches this paper really nicely. I think it might be the Luster in Color Shimmer. I don't know. I didn't look at the name of it and I have taken it out of my thing. Then for my embellishments, I was torn. I kind of wanted to use gold. I kind of wanted to use something bright, but in the end, these have silver because they're the new tinsel. Tinsel 3-pack of gems. We used a lot of Lost Lagoon in my Try It class. So I have lots of these packets and none of them have Lost Lagoon. So I'm going to use the smaller ones. They come in 2 sizes. The green would look cute too, but I'm just going to use this, and it may be Freesia, which is not the color of our thing. That is mauve, but it still matches well. And I'm going to use 5 because we buy embellishments to put on cards, not to keep in our drawers. Got 4. This is why you don't put even. You always put an odd number. So now you have this odd one and you can kind of put it wherever. I have this here, so I'm going to stick this one maybe just there, which is not where I stuck out of my other one. So isn't that fun? Here's this one. It's a little drier. The paper goes from, like it has a lot of this. I did cut some of this off. So some of your cards are gonna have a lot more flowers than other ones. This one has a little bit more of the grassy side. So super fun. Hopefully you can see how that is nice and the texture of it, because we have the texture of the thing, and this one's all the way dry, and you can see that she still has that nice lift to her things. And the texture of the embossing, and then just this ribbon with the luster. It's a really fun card. So remember, the paper right now is 15% off. I will have everything for June Club up in the next day, or not today, but by Wednesday you'll have it. If you're in Card Club, hopefully by the end of today you can go to the Card Club page on my website. Well, anybody can, and you can see what's going to be included in June Club. I did get candy because every month I put candy in the packet, and I did get candy when we were on our trip. So this candy this month is going to be a little bit special. So everybody have a great day, and I will catch you back here later. Bye.